Quack, 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 quack. No, you can't beat the rubber duck, can you? Ah, well, I can tell you I feel a hell of a lot cleaner now. Thanks to that little wash. Shame it was raining, but it's like having a shower free at the same time. Brilliant. Oh, forgot I was wearing that. Well, there we go. I'm very pleased that I explored the quirk of Englishness in my quest of eccentricity, you might think, in my tin bath. If you missed that episode, it's the previous one to this. Check it out. I think I've probably lost a lot of viewers up there. A lot more was exposed than I realised. I didn't realise quite how low to the ground it was. I was expecting the tin bath to have high sides, so you'd only just see my head and an arm, but there we are. I do apologise for all that nakedness. Anyway, I don't suppose I flattered anybody at all, least of all myself. However, it's interesting that that's how people used to bath in the old days, either in front of their fire or possibly outside, depending on the weather. And actually, I can tell you, it wasn't as unpleasant as I thought. Rubbing around with the old bath, the water kept the bath rather kept the water nice and clean, warm for ages. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that clean because I was in it, but it kept it warm for ages, which I was really surprised at. However, I am rather left with this cardboard box. I mean, it's a huge thing. Look at it. You could put a load of stuff in it. I guess I could put some shelves inside it and maybe use it as a bookcase. It would make a nice bookcase, wouldn't it? I'm sure there's 101 uses for it. I mean, it's if I shrink down a bit, maybe I could make it as a temporary bed. No good, of course, if it rains at night. There must be a million things. But I'm keeping the tin bath. I mean, God knows what I can do with it. I mean, it's quite a cumbersome thing, but I guess I could store it back in here and keep it for a rainy day. If they start raining bombs down on us, and heaven forbid that doesn't happen, or we get the 4-minute warning, I know it's a bit depressing, isn't it? I could always climb underneath. They used to say a paper bag over your head would do it, but yeah, let's not dwell on that anyway. But yes, 101 uses for a large cardboard box. But I'm hanging on to the tin bath. So, talking about old things, I want to show you these. Look at these, absolutely fantastic. This is an old egg whisk, well, or a whisk, if you like, from the lovely Jane Cox, who sent it to me. She said, I know you're collecting old things for your kitchen because you're doing things in the old-fashioned way. This was my mother's, a beautiful whisk. She was a baker. And used to bake, and she said, I'm hoping of high things by giving you this wonderful family heirloom, and it's absolutely brilliant. So I'm thinking of putting that to use in a moment. Actually, it always reminds me of the old series Joe 90, in which Joe 90 always seemed to get inside this egg whisk. I don't know if you remember that. Joe 90, da 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 da, and it would sit in there and they would do things to it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to make myself an omelette in a minute, and I'm trying out these eggs here from the local supermarket near me. These are free-range, loose eggs from a local farm, and I'm so pleased to see that supermarkets are trying these local farms out. If only we had more local farms doing this sort of stuff. So you can buy these eggs. I've already had one, look. You can buy these eggs individually, or you can obviously, buy as many as you like and put them in these old cardboard boxes. I love these cardboard boxes. It's just brilliant stuff. So that's that. I'm going to make that in a moment. But first, oh yes, I nearly forgot. Welshman Jason Patrick sent me this rather lovely and very generous of him Bosch drill bit set, because my drills are as blunt as anything, and it's wonderful. There's drills, and then there's the screw heads and things to help screw things in. But absolutely fantastic, lovely set of drill bits, because I'm going to be making some modifications here in the kitchen very soon. I'll tell you about my scullery plans and where that's gone in a mo. But yeah, this is going to be really useful. So thank you very much, Jason, for that. I have the best viewers in the world. I really do. They are wonderful. And I really, really appreciate it. Those that help me with the patronage and those that send me these incredible gifts. And now, here's something I want to tell you about, because I've been talking about this for a long time, and I want to show you what I've bought. Makes a change, doesn't it? What I've bought and what I'm going to put to use to in a video fairly soon inside this box. As you know, I've been off bread for well, 2 months now, and I've decided that I'd go back to eating bread because it was a bit of an experiment. And halfway through, 1 month in, I said, how do I feel about this? And actually, do you know, I don't know that I could actually say I felt any better by not having bread. I was doing a number of things. I was doing my intermittent, what is it? Not intimate, intermittent, there we go, that's the proper word. Intermittent fasting, I think, is something else. Intermittent fasting, which basically means that I would have my last meal about 6:30, and then I wouldn't eat anything till about 9ish the next day, unless I've got to get up early and go on a walk or something, and then I would. And I've been doing that, and I felt really good. Of course, I've been moving away from processed foods, and we've spoken about that before, but also I'm keeping myself off meat. Not to be a vegetarian, but the meat that I do eat is meat that I've bought from farm shops, proper meat that hasn't been processed in the way that commercial meat has been processed. So all of those factors, then being off bread at the same time, I've definitely lost weight. I'm a lot slimmer. You saw that in the video yesterday when I was having a bath. I feel better anyway. So whether that's because I've been off wheat, I don't know. So I wanted to come back to bread and have it in small doses. I love making bread. I love cooking bread and that sort of thing. So I've mentioned this before, and I've been after some heritage grains. Now, by heritage, we mean very old, around the time of well, the early farmers. Once the hunter-gatherers would sit down and start farming. Perhaps they didn't sit down, perhaps they stood up and did it. And these, before they were processed and changed a lot. And one of those is einkorn flour, which is, or einkorn wheat rather, which is a variety of wheat. So I've got some whole grain Craggs & Co. millet up north. And it's grown, it says on here, lovingly grown, harvested and milled in the beautiful northeast of England. So that's an ancient grain, a heritage grain. Also, Emma is another one. You may have heard of that, Emma wheat. Again, this is grain, the whole grain, all of the grain. So I'm interested in making some bread with that. And while I was on their website, this is Craggs & Co., they had some rye. Now, I've had rye Vita, and I thought it'd be interesting to try a rye loaf, which would be nice to give that a go. And they had a special offer on spelt flour. Now, I've had spelt flour, spelt loaves before, but I thought I'd try this, another ancient grain. And they had this, these are just out of date, so they were doing them for £1 instead of, I can't remember what it is, double the price, I think. So I thought I'd get one of those at the same time. I am cooking on an immersion hob. Is it an immersion hob or is it an induction hub? Anyway, whatever it is, I'm cooking on it because it saves me at lunchtime when I'm filming this, lighting the whole Essie, which takes it's a big commitment to do that. So it's a cheese and cheese, I nearly said cheese and wine then. Cheese and tomato omelette. So this pan is a bit big really for a 2-egg omelette, but that's all I've got with me. So hopefully it'll be all right. Sometimes I have a big wide omelette and I used to then grill. I wouldn't fold it over, but we'll see how we do with this. It's I never quite know what is the right numbers on this to get it up to speed, but I'm going to use all this cheese. It'll be a very cheesy omelette. And all these little tomatoes. I'm basically eating up some leftovers, and I do like a good omelette. Whether I ever make a good omelette is another thing, but a bit of black pepper. I am a black pepper fiend. I love it. And we'll keep that on like that. And that's going to be my lunch. So that's going to cook. I'm going to eat it. Once I've finished having that, you don't want to see me eat. You know what an omelette looks like. Once I've finished that, I want to show you a drawing of my plans for something for the kitchen to end up today's video. But that's coming on nicely. So I'll see you in a jiffy. Ah, well, I can tell you the omelette was delicious, but you can't beat a nice cup of tea afterwards. And so excuse the slurp. Oh, I know you see me drinking coffee quite a bit, but I do actually, and thanks to Lisa Fox, by the way, for this wonderful teapot that she brought me a year or two ago now, some time ago. Lovely. Actually, I'm just going to take one more slurp. Please excuse me. And I'm glad I did that because I've just dribbled on my artist pad. Fortunately, I had the cover shut. So I've been doing a little bit more drawing. You may remember, let's have a look in here, if I can find the right page. You may remember, that's what I'm going to show you. I did this drawing of the scullery. And the idea was to make a little outhouse outside. Of course, I hadn't taken into account the planning permission and all of that. And thanks really to, I mean, a number of viewers commented and said you probably need planning and all of that. And, you know, they're very astute viewers. And thank you for all your concern, and particularly people who said it's an enormous undertaking and it, you know, it's almost beyond me. Thank you for your concern on that. However, I spoke to Matthew Holdsworth, a friend of mine and a member of the senior management team, as we like to call it, and he said, yeah, you probably do need planning permission for a number of things, and also, although you'd made the assumption that it wasn't going to be a technically permanent building, if it's up there for more than 28 days in a month, then it is classed as permanent. So that sort of knocked the whole foundations of that idea. So I've then thought, right, okay, if I can't go outside, planning permission will take too long, and you know, it's just a process, and it's an expense as well. And what with moving the taps outside, you might need building regs and all of this. It just became a bit of a headache. And all I wanted to do was just, ultimately, I just wanted to make a homemade little sofa in front of the Essie so I could keep warm in one room during the winter and have a bit of comfort. So all this was getting a bit beyond what I was aiming to do. I wasn't worried about the enormity of the task. It was just the enormity of the bureaucracy I didn't want to deal with. So I've come up with another idea. And I must say a big thanks to Tim Tricker, who's been helping me with this project. He is an absolute star. He's the sort of bloke that everybody wants, a friend like Tim. So we've been umming and ahhing about what we could do in here in order to move the existing sink, put in the Belfast sink that Sean James Cameron very generously gave me, which was brilliant. but how to fit it in, because up here there's an RSJ and I can't shunt this French dresser along. So the plan has been changed that I'm going to actually replace this French dresser with another one. Tim found one reasonably priced, is a bit smaller, that's going to fit in here. I'm going to move the washing machine from where it is onto this back wall, and then the sink in the corner. Basically, excuse my dreadful drawing, but it's going to look a bit like this. So we've got the new dresser, which I'm going to pick up on Saturday actually. So as you watch this video, I would have already got it. I'm making this before the day, obviously. So that's the dresser, which will go in there. It won't go in there quite yet. The washing machine, the sink, and then on the other side, below the window, is a sofa. And actually, on that back wall, there is a window. You can't see it, but it is actually there. But in order to get the dresser in, I had to cover it up. So that's the plan that I'm aiming to do so far. But like all these things, it might change. It might change. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, catching up with a few bits and pieces. Thanks to all my wonderful patrons, supporters, viewers, and everybody. I say cheers to you. Thanks for all the help and the gifts and everything else. We're in March. The weather has got to improve. I can get out into the countryside. I can't wait, I can tell you. So in the meantime, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye. Right, I wonder if I could do with wallpaper in here.